we are in July. Oh, I can't believe how quick this year's going. It's absolutely mental. We are in the thick of it right now, to be honest. I think we're getting, good restock / reprints of certain stuff, but not everything. But today we'll be going through what is good products to invest in. Like, if there is any, is there any good products? There must be, right? So we were talking about today 5 great products to pick up right now for the month of July. It's tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's tough, especially finding anything these days for anything close to retail. I know over in the US it's super difficult to get anything at retail, let alone under retail. But here, you can find some things that are still at retail. Like Pokemon Center still has like Paradox Rift and Temporal Forces booster boxes, which is pretty good. But I think right now it's an interesting one. Of course, we've got Black Bolt and White Flare dropping. They're not going to be in this list, not even as honorable mention, mainly because they're too expensive. I think they're not great. I don't like the idea of paying these ridiculous pre-order prices. The same happened with Journey Together. The same happened with Destined Rivals. I was like, hell no, that's not even happening. So don't even think about it. They're not even going to be on this list. Usually, I would put the new set of that month as an honorable mention, just because, or even sometimes rank it, just because it is really good to buy a set, usually when it first comes out, because it usually is quite cheap. But at the moment, that is not the case. They're coming out ridiculously high, and then we're like waiting and seeing how much stock hits the market. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of a bit weird, rather than in the past, it wasn't necessarily that. It's all the stock on the market and then wait for it to dry out and then it goes up. But we're in this weird, like, reverse world right now. So today we'll be going through 5 products on TCG Player of what to look out for and pick up this month. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, coming number 5, we have the Crown Zenith ETB. Sword and Shield, it is getting pretty expensive, but I highly rate Crown Zenith. I think Crown Zenith is a fantastic set, and we just got to keep a lookout for it, right? It is getting pretty pricey, but I think it's good, right? This set has been printed into the absolute oblivion, don't forget, and it's still absolutely crushing it. $176. Recently sold, we're looking at anywhere between $170 and $180 over the past 3 months, going up by 40%. But guys, at the beginning of the year, an ETB was selling for around about $70. And now look at it. It has gained $100 in value, gone up by 148%. Look, it's absolutely bonkers. Over the past year, look at that. Yeah, you could have picked this up. $40, $50. This got printed into the absolute ground. And look how well it has performed. Now, for me, I rate Crown Zenith. I actually have the Pokemon Center ETBs. I think they were called like Elite Trainer Box Plus or whatever it was called. So I do have those ones. And I do have only just two of these normal ones as well. And I like Crown Zenith. I think they're very good. I think anything Crown Zenith could fit this slot, to be honest. You've got this, you've got some tins and things like that, which I think is pretty good for Crown Zenith. I think this is going to be a good one. You could be seeing Crown Zenith ETBs be the equivalent of Hidden Fates from the Sword and Shield era, which is a massive possibility, mainly because Shining Fates was a bit bad, and very, very overprinted. But yeah, very, very big one. Easily $200 by the end of the year. There's no way this isn't breaking $200. Do you know what I mean? Like this month, this year, alone, it has gone up by $100. This month alone, it has gone up by 11%. Right? It's gone from $156. It's gained $20 in a month. So if this isn't going to gain another $24 by the end of this year, like I said, we're in July. There's no shot. This could even be like $250 by the end of the year. Who knows, right? It's just like, it's just madness. It's crazy good. It's crazy good. In number 4, we have the Terapagos UPC. I've been talking about this one for a while, and we are seeing quite big climbs actually with the Terapagos UPC. I think it's a great product. I think it's got fantastic sets inside of it. It comes with 18 booster packs, amazing promos. You know what you come to expect from UPCs. I think they're great, right? The Charizard one's incredible, 151's incredible. Not all of them are incredible. Bear in mind, like the Arceus one's okay, but it's not incredible. But I think the Terapagos is okay. I think it's a good one. I don't think it's incredible, but it's good. It's solid. And that's what we like. We just want good, solid products that don't cost us an absolute arm and a leg. $140, which is pretty good. Over here in the UK, you can still pick this up in places for £100. I suggest doing so, even if you are to keep it sealed. Personally, I think it's a good idea. And on top of that, it is quite big and bulky, so maybe, not buy an absolute ton of them. But again, $140. At the beginning of the year, look at this sucker. You could have bought it for like under $100, and it's gone up 41%. I made a video at the beginning of the year talking about how good this product is, how cheap it was. You could have picked up for $90 to $100, People were saying this was trash. Terapagos UPC is just a pile of shit. Don't buy it. It's got, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Look what's going on, right? Look what's happening. This is just insane. It's just so good, right? We go back to when it came out. It came out at above retail, and everyone's like, oh, okay, right, all right, maybe not. Then it dropped like crazy. $88. If you bought this at $88, you've nearly doubled your money, right? And now look at it. Keep that in mind. These UPC boxes, they're good value boxes. It's not a Charizard UPC. It's not the Celebrations UPC. And it's not the 151 UPC. Yes, the promos aren't the best in here compared to them, but it is still pretty good. Next, we've got booster bundles. We've got the Surging Sparks booster bundle. Now, Surging Sparks, I know in the US, is just absolutely ridiculous. Booster boxes are like $250 plus. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, Surging Sparks, unless we see really big, substantial reprint, which, at this point, it feels like just an absolute, dream, but I don't think it's, ever going to happen. We're not going to see these boxes drop much, right? You're going to see Surging Sparks keep going up and up and up and up. They really need to just, absolutely just print the living daylights out of this set. So, with the booster bundles, we're looking at $48 or $46 roughly, right? And it's gone up by 10% over the past 3 months. Over the past 6 months, it hasn't really moved much compared to what was going on with normal booster packs, and especially booster boxes. And then over the past year, okay, it has gone up, right? And we've seen that with the progression of Surging Sparks. But even then, if you look at this chart, right, it hasn't really been doing much. It's just been bouncing around, which is what has been going on over the past 6 months. So I genuinely do believe that this is a really good product to get hold of as well, right? And like I said, we've seen Surging Sparks booster boxes go for $250 plus. Wouldn't be surprised if they go to $300 by the end of the year if reprints don't really affect it. I think this is pretty good. I like booster bundles. I think they're just a nice, cheaper alternative for people to pick up. Of course, for $100 of what's listed right now, don't do it. But I do think it's pretty good if you can find one for a decent price to fit roughly around the market price. I mean, yeah, a lot of them have been selling for anything under 45, so keep that one in mind. I think it's a little good one. Okay, then we have the Prismatic ETB. This one's an interesting one. I wanted to put it on this list mainly because I think it's a good set, right? It is a very, very good set. We can't deny that it is a good set. It's a frustrating set, I can tell you that, Open up the packs, open up the set is just trash. It is absolutely terrible. Kind of gives me that, Golden Skies feel where you just feel like you're burning money. But I do feel like this is still going to be a very, very good set. It has been reprinted quite heavily over in the US already. I say heavily, but it's been reprinted and it has dropped in price, which we'll look at in a minute. Over here in the UK, that hasn't been the case. We haven't really seen this reprint of Prismatic, and Prismatic is getting pretty pricey at the moment. We're looking, here in the UK, £100 plus now in ETB, which is like $120, $130. Which is pretty expensive. I still think it's too expensive at that price anyway. But will this drop to MSRP? Let's be real. And again, it could do, but I think it won't. I think there's just too much demand for this product, and on top of that, they would need to print an absolute ton. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would like for it to go to MSRP. In fact, I would like it to go under, like we saw with Crown Zenith, like I talked about with Shining Fates. If this gets absolutely printed to the ground, which I hope they do, but Pokemon has a track record of kind of wishy-washy regarding their reprints, it's an interesting one. So take a look at this, right? This has dropped 24% over the past 3 months. By the way, that's fantastic. We want to see that continue to drop closer and closer to MSRP. And at one point, it did actually dip, right, to 97%. I mean, over the past month, here we go, we can see it dropped to under $100, but it has bounced back up a little bit since then. So, since the release, this thing has dropped by nearly 30%. Look, it being at 150 was a joke. There was no way you could have got me to buy 150. There's just no way. Not when a set first come out. That's just, well, even now at that point, that's just dumb, right? But I do think that this is going to be a good one. I do. And you could say, oh, is it worth picking up $100? It might drop to MSRP. And yeah, you're right. It might actually drop to MSRP if Pokemon decide to actually print a lot. Now, they did say they're going to put printers to the max to print this set and things that are coming out in 2025. So again, it's still relatively young. This set is not that old. It's like 6 months old. It's not like, we talk about like Paladin Evolved or anything like that. It is still Crown Zenith, like we talked about earlier. It is a new set, and it's going to get reprinted all throughout this year and probably all throughout next year. However, if we have to compare this to other sets that have come out that are similar to this, when we look at like 151, you look at Crown Zenith, if this got printed on the same volume as Crown Zenith, which is a possibility, and don't forget Crown Zenith got printed an absolute ton, I still think this will perform in the long term very, very well. Okay? Like as we saw with Crown Zenith, it was like $170, $180 in ETB. Now, all I'm going to say is, like, I want you guys in the comments, let me know. Do you think that a Prismatic ETB will be over $200 once it runs out of print? Do you think it'll be over 200? Do you think it will be over 300? Do you think it will be 400, 500, right? You look at 151, a normal ETB is like ridiculously expensive. I'm not saying this is, maybe it's because 151, it might not be, I don't know. But I do think that this will be a very good one. And yes, it may drop. And if you bought it now, 100, and then more got reprinted, and you could pick up at maybe 70, 60 even, then buy more when it drops. Do you know what I mean? Because down the line, this will still do very well. So be careful of obviously buying it, because reprints are around and happening, but you got to look at that long term, and we're here for the long term, right? We're not here for the next 6 to 12 months. We're here for the long term. This will perform incredibly well. And then finally, we have 151 booster bundles. Now, 151 booster bundles have been printed quite a lot and stocked actually quite a lot, and the set's actually getting a little bit old now, right? It's getting on a bit, and it's nice to see more and more 151 hit the shelves, and they've been actually printing a lot of 151 booster bundles. They did Blooming Waters, of course, and so on and so forth. But for me, I think the booster bundles are fantastic. We've seen them recently hit the UK. These have caused a lot of price drops to happen. These were going for like £75, £80 booster bundle. They're now like 60. Still quite pricey, but they have gone down. That's the main thing, right? And look, we're looking at $70 market price, gone up by 11% over the past 3 months. Recently sold, it's about 75 across the board. Over the past 6 months, so at the beginning of this year, not much has been going on, really, gone up by 10%. But over the past year, has been climbing. Because 151 in the US has been stocked quite nicely. Pokemon are going to stop doing it, at some point, and I think sooner rather than later, because of the age of the product, right, the age of the set. And it came out quite early on in the Scarlet and Violet era. So keep that in mind. This isn't Prismatic we just looked at, where there's a lot of that reprint time and reprint window. Pokemon tend to reprint stuff within a 2-year time frame. Sometimes not always. Like sometimes they might cut it a little bit short. Sometimes they might actually release certain products for certain sets a couple of years after it come out, for example. Maybe 3-4 years down the line. We've seen that with sets like Cosmic Eclipse. We've seen it with Hidden Fates, and so on and so forth. I think we even saw it with like Vivid Voyage Dance of Blaze from Sword and Shield era. So all in all, I would say regarding 151, I think booster bundles are great products to pick up. Because they've been the ones that have been reprinted, so you can pick them up for a reasonably good price, and I think they're good, right? Whether or not it's individual, whether or not it's a case, of course, if you can get it in a case, that'd be amazing. Which is 10 of them. But I think overall, I think this is a good one, and I've actually been picking up some 151 booster bundles just because they have dropped in price. Over here in the UK, they were like £15 a pack. Now they dropped to roughly around £10 a pack, so it's not too bad. But a fantastic set. I've called this the modern day base set, and I stand by it. I think it's a very, very good one. So there you have it, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Which one of these do you think is good? Do you think there's any others that would be amazing to add to this list that are good pickups this month? Let me know your thoughts about Prismatic. I know this seems to be a hot topic right now. I've seen a couple of people in the Discord talk about it, and I've seen 1 or 2 videos pop up on my feed regarding Prismatic. And, it's an interesting one. It's going to get reprinted. It is, right? Like I said, the set's 6 months old. Yeah, it's going to be reprinted for the rest of this year, next year as well. And if it drops MSRP, I'll buy some more MSRP. And, it's just one of those things. Like, £100 an ETB right now, I think is a little bit pricey. Especially when you've got other products that are a little bit cheaper. But overall, I think 151 is literally just a holy grail item alongside Crown Zenith from the Sword and Shield era. But that is it from me, guys, in today's video. If you watch more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on the screen, and of course make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.